Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be continuing the Crochet Cafe booklet that I got from Amazon. From our returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are going to be doing the snack video. I'm not too sure how many videos this is going to be, but we are on the last leg of this Crochet Cafe trip. If you're interested in this booklet, I will leave the link to Amazon in the description box below. I'm not affiliated with them. I just wanted to find the perfect birthday gift for my goddaughter, and she is very young, so I figured let's make some soft plush snacks that she can play with and learn from. So I highly recommend this booklet. I love the instructions. There's a little bit nuances to it that I didn't really know about compared to all the other instructions I've done in my lifetime. But we've done the breakfast series, lunch series, dinner series. We have done, we just finished doing dessert, and now we're doing the snack, and that's going to be the end of it. If you end up getting this booklet and you need help with anything, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll revisit this booklet again. Alright, so today we're going to be doing snacks, and we are going to be working on popcorn. So I thought this was going to be super ultra cute. This is going to be insanity because not only are we going to construct the popcorn container, we have to build the little popcorn. So this is going to be so cute. It's going to be so crazy. I do not love when projects are this tiny, but we're going to do it because you have to. So in this set of instructions, we have to use a 4mm crochet hook, and I'm actually going to use a 3.5. I don't have a 4mm construction crochet hook, and then of course I'm going to be using my own yarn. So my project might end up smaller than yours just because of the smaller hook, but I think my yarn's, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, alright, so we're gonna get straight into this. I will be repeating new stitches at least 3 times, step by step, and then I'm gonna go over the instructions. If there is anything a little nuts, I'll try to like sort it out and help you guys with that. So if you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, we can lower the volume on your device and click on the CC closed caption button. But let's get straight into this. Alright, so I have my white yarn here. Hopefully it's enough for this project. What we're going to do is some straight chain stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to take our ring and pinky and thumb and hold one end. We're going to take the index and middle and hold apart the other. I'm going to lay the crochet hook perpendicular to the yarn, and we're going to go down, out, and around to make a loop around the hook. You'll still be able to glide the hook up and down the yarn. We're going to slide it down towards the thumb, take our middle finger here and just hold it so we can let go of our left. Now I'm going to gather up some feeder yarn, pinch the end piece here, and now there's more room to slide our hook further down to the thumb. And where it crosses, we're just going to pinch it so that we can no longer slide this up and down. We're going to yarn over, which is putting this yarn over the hook, yarn over, and then we're going to slip this strand through this loop, and then I'm going to overhand my hook. I'm going to repinch the end. I'm going to slide this knot towards my left thumb, and I'm going to keep pushing it until the knot tightens. And once you get to a point that you can't push it any longer, you can grab the excess piece and just pull that out a little bit, just to tighten up a little bit more. Then you can grab the knot, slide it up to the hook, and then we can start the first set of instructions. So the chain stitch, this is the most basic stitch in crocheting, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So when you have this, it'll be easier if you take your middle finger and thumb and just hold the knot down. You want to stabilize your project so that you can make these stitches. Now if we didn't hold it down, it's gonna take a lot for us to do this. So take your middle finger and thumb and just hold the knot down. What we're gonna do from here is yarn over, and then we're gonna pull this through the loop like that, and that's it. That's a chain stitch. Congrats, first stitch. So this chain is made up of 3 loops. You have a loop here, a loop there. You turn it on its side, you can see the back loop or the hump right here. So we're gonna do another one. So yarn over, we're gonna pull this strand through this loop, and now we have 2 chains. Again, a loop here, a loop there, turn it on its side, and you have a hump here. All right, so one more time with you guys. So yarn over, pull this through the loop, and then you can see you have 3 chains, a loop on each side. You turn the whole thing to its side here, and you can see the back humps. And I'm showing you all this because it's going to be important later. But yeah, we're going to continue doing the rest of the chains required, and then we're going to move on to round 1. Gonna get some yarn here. And then I'm gonna continue doing the chain stitches. Alright, so once you've completed the number of chain stitches they asked you to make, I wanted to take a minute to look at the chain stitches here. As you can see, it looks like a French braid or a braid, which I like. And like I said, each stitch has 3 loops, the ones on the side, and then you turn it on its back here, and then there's these back humps. So I'm showing you guys this because in the next row, we have to make our single crochet stitches, and they're asking you to start at the 2nd chain from the hook. So here's the hook. You're going to count 1 chain, 2 chains. So we're going to be inserting our hook into the 2nd chain. Now I like to use the back hump here. Most people would just stick the hook on top of the loop right here, but when you do that, you kind of ruin the braid. And what you want to do is, in case this is exposed later, you want to put your hook in the back hump so that if it's exposed, you get to see the braid and not just one loop. It's nice and pretty. Or if it's not being exposed and you have to crochet edging or sew together, you have 2 loops to put in to use instead of 1, because if we use the standard loop when doing the next row, you use 1 loop, so that gives you 1 loop left. But if you do it this way, where you put the hook in the back, later on you have 2 loops to work with. And I know that's a bit confusing, but this some of these projects kind of talk briefly about using the back bump too, which is also why I like this booklet, because it kind of thinks the same way that I do. So I just like the detail. It's always nice to have something like a little extra, a little more finished. Alright, so aside from that hoopla, we're gonna go from the second chain from the hook, and we're going to stick the hook into the back loop like this, and then we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So to do that, you want to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch, and again, the top of the stitch has a braid, and it has 2 loops for this braid. Okay. All right, let's do another one. Into the next stitch, I'm gonna stick my hook into the back hump right here. And then if you see the other side, you can see that you're just under that braid. We're gonna yarn over, pull through the loop. Now we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. All right, let's do the next one. Into the next stitch, put in your hook into that back loop. There's the braid underneath. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay. So we're going to complete the rest of this row and then chain 1, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to do the next rows. Okay, at the last chain, we have this excess piece. It might be long enough to hide. So what we're gonna do is flatten it down onto the hook, and then with our feeder yarn, we're gonna yarn over, like we've been doing, and it's gonna kind of clamp it down to the hook. And we're gonna pull up our loop like we do with the single crochet stitch. And so now that excess piece should be tucked in. It might come out again, but at least you can try to hide it. All right, so we finished the first row, and I just want to show you again. So top view from what we just did, you can see all the stitches and its braiding. And then if you flip it upside down, the bottom stitches also have the braiding. If we didn't do it this way, you wouldn't be seeing this. You would only be seeing 1 row of loops. So that's how I like to do it. Now it says to chain 1, so we're going to yarn over, pull through the loop to chain 1. While we're here, it also talks about getting markers. These are the plastic markers you want. They're plastic because you don't want to poke yourself, although I've done it, so be careful. These are going to help you keep track of your rows and your stitches. And what you want to do is stick this marker under the braid of the last stitch or single crochet stitch we made. So this is the end of the row. This is the last single crochet stitch. I'm going to slip this underneath the braid. And you want to make sure you clear it. You don't want to like pierce the yarn ever because it's just going to be messy. But you can close this up and then you can start the next round because we chained 1 and then we have to turn. So turning the project now puts all your stitches back on the left side. So when we had it this way, all the finished stitches were on the right side. So turn it, and we're going to start the next row, row 2, right here where the marker is. So at least now you know where to put your marker. And all we're doing is, again, single crochet stitches. You're going to mark the last stitch, and then we're going to chain 1. And you're going to keep doing that until you reach row 10, but you're not going to chain 1 after row 10. And then I'm going to hop back in when we get there. but essentially this marker is going to stand for row 2, and we're doing up to row 10. So I have all these markers that I've collected over the kits that I've done. And so ideally, if you get these at a hobby store or online in packs for a few dollars, it comes with a lot of them. I'm going to use these markers as my row counters. So if this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so I have my 10 markers. Let's just double count to make sure. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so no matter where I am in my day doing this, these next rows, I can stop, come back later. I know it's the same instruction of doing single crochet stitches, and all I have to do is leave the markers in and use them all up. So I'll know when I'm done with this section when there's no more markers to add. So that's why it's so helpful. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna pop back in silence. I'm gonna do rows 2 through 10, and in the last row though, we are not gonna chain 1. So I'll explain what to do thereafter. Alright, so I finished all the rows, and then I actually added a marker at the last stitch we made. What we have to do now is do single crochet stitches around the 3 edges. So we are going to be doing a single crochet stitch in the same stitch that we used to make the last single crochet stitch. So we went into this stitch right here. We're going to do another single crochet stitch, so that kind of makes it an increasing stitch if you think of it that way. And then this is going to start naturally turning towards this direction. So then we're going to do single crochet stitches down here. So I left these markers in, so this can kind of guide us as to where we should be placing our hook. So let's add in all the single crochet stitches that the instructions are asking us to do. And I didn't clear the yarn. You want to make sure to clear it. You don't want to split it by accident. Alright, and then once we complete this side, then we can actually remove the markers. I'm just going to remove the side ones. I'm not going to remove the last one that we did. Okay. Then we have to do an increasing stitch in the corner. So put your hook into the corner stitch here. Okay, and then for this side we're going to do 12 single crochet stitches, and because we had done the hook in the back hump, now we can use the 2 loops to secure a better hold on this edging. So that's always a good reason to kind of do it that way, as I mentioned before. Alright, and then it's saying that we're going to do an increasing stitch at the corner space. Okay. And then we're going to do 8 single crochet stitches. So again, we're going to use the markers to kind of gauge where we're putting in our stitch or hook. Okay. And then we have to do a single crochet stitch in the corner. All right. So now I'm going to remove all these markers. We're going to have to fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. Remove this one too. So what I'm going to do is we're going to wrap this around this rectangle twice, and that's going to ensure that we have enough yarn to sew. Okay, then once we have that, I'm going to show you how to fasten off. So what you want to do is we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through the loop all the way out, and then tighten up this loop, and we're done with our rectangle. All right, I'm going to set that one aside, and then we're going to move on to the that was the base. We're going to move on to the back panel, and that requires red yarn. So I'm going to pull out my red yarn, and we're going to do some chains. So you want to hold the yarn, ring, pinky, and thumb in one end, index and middle finger in the other. We're going to take the hook and lie it perpendicular to the yarn. Then we're going to go down, out, and around to be able to slide it up and down. We're going to slide it towards the thumb, take your middle finger, place it right here to hold it down. I'm going to take my left hand, and we're going to get some feeder yarn. I'm going to re-pinch this end down here and continue to slide the hook closer to the thumb, and where it crosses we're just going to pinch with our middle finger so that you can no longer slide this up and down. I'm going to yarn over, and we're going to pull this through the loop, and then we're going to tighten this up, slip the knot towards the thumb till you can't push it down anymore. And once you get to that stopping point, then you can take your thumb and middle finger and just pull out this excess piece a little bit so that we can tighten up that knot once more. Then slide the knot towards your hook, leave some space because we're going to do our first stitches. So for the red, we are going to be doing some chains, so let's do that now. All right, let me just double check that I have the right count. All right, so for this next round, like we did last time, second chain from hook, we're going to do single crochet stitches across, chain one, and turn. So we're going to do second chain from hook, 1, 2, stick this in the back loop. We're going to do our single crochet stitch, and we're going to continue this all the way down to the end. Okay, at this last one, I'm going to stick the hook in the back hump. I'm going to lay this excess piece over the hook, and then our yarn over will kind of squish it in place. Pull up a loop, finish your single crochet stitch, and then hopefully it stays hidden. It might not. You can always trim it. Alright, so after we complete that, I'm going to take a marker. We're going to mark the last stitch we made. And then we're going to chain one and turn. Alright, so that for the next 2 rows, and I don't think I'm going to need markers because it's only 2 rows, but we're going to do single crochet stitches. We're going to chain one and turn, but we're not going to do it after the last row because we're going to change to white. So we're going to have to do that. So let's do our single crochet stitches. Yeah. Well, I might as well. So that's for 2, this is for 3. Thought I was gonna use a marker, but might as well just in case. But yeah, we're chaining one and we're turning. And then we're gonna complete the rest. Alright. When we get to the end of this row, I'm not gonna finish the last single crochet stitch yet. I want to show you how I transition to white. So we're just going to have to set that up before we finish that last single crochet stitch. Alright, so we have one more single crochet stitch left to do. I'm going to just pull this loop out very long so that I don't lose the stitch. I can set it aside for now. I'm going to grab my white. And one more time, I'm going to show you guys how to cast on with a slip knot. So ring, pinky, and thumb, index and middle finger, hold this apart. I'm going to take the hook and lie it perpendicular to the yarn. Then we're going to go down, out, and around to make this loop. Slide the hook down towards your thumb. Take your middle finger, put it here so you can remove your left and gather some feeder yarn. We're going to re-pinch the end, and you're going to slide the hook closer to the thumb and then pinch where it crosses so that you can no longer move the yarn up and down. Then we're going to yarn over. You're going to pull through the loop, overhand the hook, and then we're going to re-pinch this, and we're going to move the knot towards the thumb. Keep pushing that knot down till you cannot move it anymore, and then we're going to grab this end and pull it out to tighten up that knot a little bit. I'm going to slide the knot close to the hook. I have to leave some room so that we can slip this off. Then go back into your project, slip the hook back on, tighten up the loop with your feeder yarn, and then we're going to do our last single crochet stitch. Once we yarn over and pull through the loop, you want to set aside the yarn by using your ring finger and just holding it out of the way. I'm going to slip the white onto the hook. We're going to gather some feeder yarn and we're pulling this loop through these two. So that's pretty much how you make your transition from red to white. So we're going to leave this on here because it looks like we're going to have to go back and change the colors. But for the next rounds, and I'm going to mark the last stitch we made. Alright, first we're going to chain one and then turn, and then for the next 3 rows, so 4, 5, 6, we're going to do single crochet stitches and then chain 1, turn. We are going to change, oh, I just reread that. Okay, holy cannoli. So we're doing single crochet stitches for 4 and 5. And then on row 6, we're going to carry red yarn in front of the work. Okay. Alright, so then we're changing to red again. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, I'm going to put a marker here under the last stitch we made, chain and turn, then we're going to continue with our single crochet stitches all the way down to the end of the row. Alright, so this is kind of crazy. We're gonna have to change to red after row 6, but for row 6 we're going to have to crochet this in the space. So let's see, I'm just gonna throw this red up here. get it up there. All right. Then we're going to do the last row of white. So they want you to crochet it in here like this. I think that's rather insane, but we're going to do it. Okay. So, oops. Let's chain 1 and turn after rows 4 and 5 only. On row 6, carry red in front of the work. I guess we're not chaining 1. I don't know. This is where it's getting confusing. But I'm looking at, I just don't like that. It's just ugly. Alright, no offense. Alright, so let's just complete these single crochet stitches. But we're going to be crocheting the red into the white. And I don't know why we wouldn't chain 1, but okay. Alright, so here we're going to change to red. So what we're going to do is yarn over and pull up a loop with the white. I'm going to hold this white yarn here back while I pick up the red. We're going to yarn over and slip through both loops. And now we have our next row. When changing one yarn, bring white yarn forward, yarn. Okay. Just gonna mark the last stitch we made. Then we're gonna chain 1 and turn. All right, so then we're gonna do rows 7 and 8. So for the next 2 rows, we're gonna do our single crochet stitches, and then we're changing to white. So at this point you should be able to see a definitive pretty side, wrong side. And it looks like this side is going to be the right side. So whatever you do next, just make sure that that right side is always looking good. Okay, so this is row 7. We're gonna do row 8. Okay, so when we get to this last stitch here, we're going to yarn over with the red and pull up a loop. Then we're going to set this aside and grab the white, yarn over with this, and pull through both loops. And we can replace, well, you know what, actually, I don't like how this is. I'm going to redo this. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull this up to the front like it said to do. I'm going to slip my hook into this next stitch here. Pull up a loop, set it aside, and then grab the white to finish this single crochet stitch. And then we're going to replace our markers. Grab this one. I'm going to chain one and then turn. Alright. So we're doing 9, 10, and 11. And we're going to do this in white. So this is actually, I'm losing where the prettier side is. So I'm going to move this towards the back, like it said. Oh dear. Okay, this is where we chained one. So take it back to where we chained one. I am going to move the red yarn towards the back because we're going to need to change again. And I want it to be a nice clean change. This side is the nice side. So Okay. Oh, make sure you clear the yarn, don't split it. We're going to mark the last stitch we made. Chain 1 and turn. Just detangle this right now. Okay. Alright, and for this last row, we are going to be carrying the red again like we did with the white. So let me just, I'm going to chain 1 and turn this. Okay, and just making sure which side is the nice side. So this is the nice side. I thought this was the nice side. Oh. Alright, let me just redo this one. I guess there should be an easier marker. If you can leave an easier marker to let you know which side is the prettier side, that would be great. Alright, so we're going to throw this red towards the back. And then we're going to do our last single crochet stitch. Right? Confusing. Alright, chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to do what we did before. We're just going to crochet the red up into the stitches so that we can carry this to the other side for when we change back to red. Definitely not ideal. Guys, I'm not a fan of what's happening right now. They should have made it wider if that was the case, like just so that you have an even number of rows and you don't have to drag this red or white all the way across just to change color. It just seems silly. Plus, you know, trying to hide red against white, I mean, look, that's pretty tough. You can still kind of see it. So, not a fan. Okay, so last one, and I am going to transition to the red. So we're going to yarn over with the white. Then we're going to hold it back here and we're going to switch to the red. Okay. So now I'm just going to mark this piece here. So we're going to do rounds 12 through 14. Oh wait, let's see. Change to red, chain 1 and turn. At this point cut, we're going to cut the white because we won't need it anymore. So I'm going to leave enough to tie. So about an inch or so. I am going to tie it around the red at least once. No, let's do 2 times. This is the prettier side though. Oh, I just hate this. Yeah, not a fan. Alright, so I tied it twice. Now we're just going to use the red. So this marker is going to be 12, 14, 15, and 16. Right, 14, 15. Wow, really? 14. Oh, 12, 13, 14. Louise. Okay. Chain 1 and turn. Now I'm going to tuck this in to while I crochet like we did with the red and the white before to hide it, just so we can hide this excess piece and not have to just trim it off. And I'm actually going to do this in silence, but as you see here, I am just going to each stitch and I'm including this white excess piece inside my stitching. So let's do this in silence. Alright, so after that we have this. I'm actually going to remove these markers, and then we're going to do the next rounds. Let me actually just mark this last stitch we made. So for row 15, we are going to do this in red, and we're going to use the back loops only. So if you have not seen the last video, let me show you what back loop only is. So let me just chain one first and turn. So when we look at the top stitches, I showed you that they're made up of a loop here and a loop here. When you're facing this way, these would be considered the front loop and these would be considered the back loop. So we are going to be putting our hook in the back loops only. So what we're going to do, stick your hook into the back loop only of the first stitch. So you're going to split the middle of the braid and go through the back loop only. Then we're going to do our single crochet stitch. Let's do this again. So stick your hook in between this braid here. We're going to put the hook into the back loop only and do our single crochet stitch. One more time. Here's our next stitch. I'm going to put this in the middle through the back loop only and then do our single crochet stitch. So when you look at the front, you're going to see the front loops are untouched and just chilling there. So we're going to continue the rest of this row using the back loops only, and this is going to create like automatic seam, and your project's going to want to bend. Mine is actually wanting to bend right now, and these are going to make the corners of your container. All right, I'm going to mark it, and then we're going to do the next row. So the next row we're going to do single crochet stitches, and then we're going to change to white. One and turn, and then now we can go back to normal, like both loops. So just stick your hook into the both loops. Oh, before we finish the last stitch, we're gonna change to white. So I'm gonna make this big. Then I'm gonna grab my white, and we are going to cast on with a slip knot. So again, with the ring, pinky, and thumb, hold one end, index and middle finger hold the other. We're going to lie the hook perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to create this loop. Slide it down towards your thumb, take your middle finger and hold it where it crosses. Then I'm going to get some feeder yarn here, repinch the end, slide the hook further down towards the thumb, and then we're going to pinch it where it crosses so that we can no longer move the hook up and down. You want to yarn over and slip through the loop. Then I'm going to overhand the hook, repinch the end, and we're going to push this knot towards the thumb until you can't push it any further. Then I'm going to take my middle finger and thumb and just pull this out a little bit more, tighten up that knot, and then we're going to pull the knot close to the hook. Then we're going to just slide this off for a little bit. We're going to stick our hook back into that large red loop, tighten it up with the feeder yarn, and then we're going to complete this last single crochet stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we're going to hold this feeder yarn back here, slip the white on, get some feeder yarn. We're going to pull this through both loops, and now we've transitioned to the white. Just going to move this and put this underneath the last stitch we made. Okay. You always want to make sure which side is what. So this side is going to be the bad side because we crawled up the red here. I think originally the good side was this side, but whatever. It's just going to be this side because I kind of screwed up. Anyway, a little disappointing. So now we're going to do rows 17 and 18. So for the next two rows, we're just going to do the single crochet stitch and change to red. So in fact, for rows 17 and 18, it's 2 rows, we're going to do the white and switch to red. Then for 19 and 20, we're going to do the single crochet stitches and then switch back to white. And then again, 21 and 22, we're going to do our single crochet stitches and switch to red. And then for 23 and 24, we're going to do single crochet stitches. And then we'll go back and see what the side panels are supposed to look like. Okay, so I'm going to do all this in silence. Alright, so I finished the side panel. This is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, and then so apparently on one side it'll be covered when we crochet the top border at the end of everything, which is great because I'm not enjoying some of this right now. But we have to continue with the front and last side panel. Yeah, so it's pretty much kind of the same instructions for the front panel and the final side panel. If there's any differences, right, it's pretty much the same between rows 25 through 48. Yeah. So front panel and side panel are going to be the same as these two. I'm just going to complete the rest in silence. We'll come back in and show how to fasten off and sew things together. Yeah. So seeing how long this video is so far, we might have to do the rest in a part 2 video. But till then, let's do this in silence. Alright, so I finished the front and final side panel of this container, and we have to fasten off, leaving a long red tail for sewing up the side. So what I did was I just kept the length, doubled the length for the side of yarn, and then a little then some, to make sure that I have enough to sew. And then I'm going to show you how to fasten off. So to fasten off, you just have to yarn over and pull through the loop all the way out, and then just tighten this up. I actually forgot about these markers. We can remove them. But that's pretty much it. I mean, it says, I love the instruction says there'll be about 8 white tails to weave in. And we don't, because I showed you guys how to crochet it into the project, so no tails. Maybe a little fringes, but that's okay. And then it's just gonna hide inside the container anyway. So we have to add the safety eyes, placing the first eye between rows 29 and 30 and the second eye between 34 and 35. So, we're gonna have to count a lot. Alright, is the border that we have to sew on top or the bottom? Because, alright, they're sewing a border on the top, because we're going to be hiding some of this craziness, and at the bottom, sewing the bottom. Let me just take a look at this picture real quick. I want to make sure that whatever it is I'm doing, I'm going to be hiding some of these imperfections, because we have this here. So we could just, I want to leave the better side as the top, to be honest, but all right, we'll see. Okay, so between rows 29 and 30, let me go get some yarn. I actually don't know which color I'm going to use. We'll see. All right, so I actually picked, I like green. I just picked this. I don't have black. It's not going to happen. And I was looking through my array of colors, and I got a bunch of colors that all don't work. So I just picked the green because it's something different. I would like to pick like a pink that I am going to use for the blush, but it didn't look bold enough. And then I thought, okay, maybe a red, but that's going to blend. You know, it's the little difficulties in the details. But anyway, so let's count this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. All right, so we're in 29. Between 29 and 30, it doesn't really say where, so let's put this in the middle between 29 and 30. And I'm going to leave a little bit of tail to tie everything together. Okay, I'm going to hold this down so I don't lose it. Now I'm going to make this like about a width apart. I mean, a stitch apart. So, or stitch thickness. And I'm going to make multiple passes to thicken up this eye. I think when it comes to the eyes, they should just tell you to use yarn. In fact, maybe that's what I should have done. I have black yarn. Oh well. But if you have safety eyes, you just put the safety eyes in. I just don't want to use the safety eyes because this is going to a little child, and there is always the risk of them swallowing or choking on the safety eyes. So rather safe than sorry. Alright, so when I think I got to a point where it's nice and shapely enough to look like an eye, I don't really. I'm going to move on to the next eye, and that one is going to be between rows 34 and 35. So 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and then of course I'm going to want to try to make it the same at the same level. So I believe that would be here. And again, we're going to do a multiple passes until we get the same size eyeball. And then I say this all the time, but don't even do it myself. If you can keep track of the number of passes you make, to use the same number of passes when you do the other eye. I forgot to count, so I'm just going to gauge with my eye how many times I need to do this. But we are almost done, you guys. This has been kind of bittersweet because this was a lot. I have a ton more of stuff that I want to do. I've got the knit kits that I want to get to because I do love knitting more than crocheting. But yeah, so just trying to get all of this done. It's been a feat. So now we're gonna do the mouth. Oh, it does. Oh man, count up from the bottom up about 8 or 9 rows. So it did tell you. Whatever. I put in the, what's wrong with putting it in the middle? I didn't read ahead. And then I have to do the mouth. Let's see. They always have it like in between the eyes. So I'm just trying to see where would be a good spot. Right. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit. And then we're going to put our needle right in the middle. We're going to have this yarn piece catch the bottom of this mouth here to make that smile dip permanent, like that. Then I'm going to flip this upside down and we are going to tie this all together, and I have to do the blush next. All right. Then I'm going to grab my pink. And we're going to do the blush. It's slightly lower than the eye. So we're going to go about here. Okay. Then we're gonna do the other blush. I don't know why this looks different, but right. Flip this upside down, tie these two together. All right, to make the top border, join red yarn in the upper right hand corner of the piece, chain 1. Upper right corner, chain 1 will count as. All right, photos 21 through 22. I feel like I'm missing something. So I get this side. Hold on a sec. Alright, took me a minute there, but we're gonna add the red. So cast on with a slip knot. Ow. Alright. And we're going to work this into the corner at the upper right hand side. Alright, we're going to slip this in. I hate when I split the yarn. Alright, we're going to slip this on. Let's try this again. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1. Alright. And then we're going to do single crochet stitches across. This chain 1 is going to act as a chain, as a stitch, so we're going to have 48 stitches in total. Yeah, not a fan of crocheting on the sides because it's really hard to see where exactly you're putting your hook in. But a nice tip to think of is to at least make sure you put your hook under at least 2 loops, and this is going to create a sturdier stitch. When you do 1 loop, you can even feel it pulling, and you just never know if your project ends up getting played with to the point where it ends up getting ripped, or even washing it sometimes. Delicate cycle, sometimes it varies with machines. If you're washing this, if you have like a dry cleaner bag or a pillowcase to wash these in, because they're delicate and you don't want the yarn to pill. So even when drying too, you don't maybe put it in a pillowcase. So I'm kind of curious to see what it's gonna look like after I wash it, because the integrity of your stitches is gonna loosen up. This is stiff right now and it's holding its shape. By the time you wash it, it's, depending on the material, it can just go really flimsy, and your straight box is gonna look like a sagging I don't know, worn out paper bag. And if it helps any, if it took you 2 rows to make each color, then on the sides you need at least 2 per color. This one here was like 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, so I'm going to make sure to put 3, 3, 2, 3, 3 single crochet stitches across. So that helps any. Alright, I've got my 48 stitches. I'm going to cut about an inch or so. We're going to fasten this off and then weave in the ends. I'm going to try just hiding it when we sew the sides together. But next we're going to assemble. This thing is taking long. I might take a look back at what time we have on this portion here. We might have to do the popcorn in a separate video. Alright. We have to line up the edges. Find the back loops. Alright. Weave the yarn needle up through the horizontal line, then come down and bring the needle through the middle of the stitch. Yikes. Okay, so I guess we're going to use this long piece here. I'm going to see which way it has us, if the good side is supposed to be facing out or not. Right, I guess the good side's supposed to be facing out. So we're going to line up these edges here. And we're going to be sewing the back loops. So put this back here. We're going to line this up with the back loop of, let me just, make sure. Oh, help me. It's just these photos that they have are so small. Alright, find it's a horizontal line. I'll find the back loop. Okay, so if this is row 48 and this is row 1. Alright, so the back loop for row 1 would be this bottom, and the back loop would be back here. Alright, so I'm okay. I just find that rather flimsy, but okay. So we're just going to sew the back loops together. So let's just hold this like that. So we're going to go into the back loops. Honestly, I feel like if you want to match what's going on here, you really need to put it through both. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. And it looks so different. Let me try it that way. I know they just want you to use the back loop only, but it looks so different from the other edges. So I'm going to be the guinea pig and try it out this way first. I think that from row 48 you do the back loop only. However, for row 1 you should do both loops, because that's how it looks around every edge, and I'll show you. So this edge, we did the back loops only, and then it just falls, but you don't see any of the next row's loops. Same thing with this, same thing with this. So I'm going to try sewing this together. We're going to use the back loops only of the 48th row, but we're going to put through both loops on the first row. So I think that's the only thing, because now it's starting to look like all the other conditions. See, we're using the back loop and we're tucking in both loops of the first row there. So okay, so just keep on sewing it like this. It's looking exactly the same. So that I like. Whoops, I split it. Okay, and then this piece here, just kind of line it up with the stitches at the first row, so that when we sew this all together, it'll get scooped up with everything. That way, this will be all tucked in. Okay, this is our last stitch here. And then I'm going to come in. I'm going to tie this up somewhere. Okay, and then once we've done that, I'm just going to weave it in. I'm going to cut off this here. All right. Oy. Okay, so then we have to do the bottom. But you see now everything's nice and uniform. The folds are folding the same way. Right? All right, so let's go see how we're going to attach the base. We did our base a while ago. So let's thread up Yikes. All right, so we're going to line this up. Hopefully this will make it sturdy. But we're going stitch for stitch. So I'm going to try hiding some of the discolored parts here. I don't know how I'm gonna try covering this. It's too far down. don't know how they had this line up because there's 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, never mind. I'll stay quiet. Alright. Moving around here. So I am all the way around. Let's see, what I'm going to do is stick this inside the container and pull it out from within inside. Alright, so I can at least hide this. Then let's flip this inside out for a hot minute. Okay, from here I'm just going to find a moment to tie a knot. Like this. And then use the bottom to kind of weave in. Here and there. Okay, let's cut this short. So now we have our container. This definitely isn't as deep as I thought it would be, but I still feel like I have to make a lot of popcorn. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go really crazy with this, you could line the inside with cardboard. I'm just gonna hope for the best and leave it as is, but we have finished our little popcorn container. Okay, so they had you kind of move this down a little bit after the 8th or 9th stitch so that you can cut a piece of felt and write popcorn on it. I don't have felt that big, and you can probably just tell it's going to be a popcorn container. Hopefully, these are the containers, the classic containers you put popcorn in, so hopefully they're still doing that. I don't know, I'm kind of old, but anyway. Alright, let's come back in. Alright, so I just looked back at how long this took. We are probably over 2 hours, you guys. So needless to say, we're going to be doing popcorn in a part 2 video. That's going to be a real short one because I'm going to show you how to do one popcorn and then you have to make as many to fill the container. So at any rate, thank you so much you guys for watching. Click on that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Comment below and let me know how this went for you. I do have a little dip in my container, so either, you know, my stitching is too tight or this is just too big. But it's okay, because sometimes that's how containers are. They cheat you into thinking you're getting all this popcorn, but in reality there's a huge little dip in here and you're not getting that much popcorn. Anyway, alright you guys, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.